On this day of October 5th, 2024, the world watches as Russia makes a controversial move. It has decided to remove the Taliban from its official list of terrorist organizations. This decision, announced by seasoned diplomat Zamir Kabulov, has sent ripples across the global stage. It marks a significant shift in Russia's stance towards the Taliban since the group's takeover of Afghanistan in 2021. The announcement, strategically made during a Moscow-hosted conference on Afghanistan, signals Russia's clear intention to take a more prominent role in shaping the future of this volatile region. The decision has drawn sharp criticism from many Western nations. These countries, including the United States, continue to designate the Taliban as a terrorist organization. They argue that the Taliban has not done enough to warrant such a change in status. The West points to ongoing concerns over human rights violations and the lack of inclusive governance in Afghanistan. However, Russia, seemingly undeterred by these criticisms, appears determined to chart its own course. Russia's decision to engage with the Taliban is a pragmatic one, driven by a complex set of geopolitical calculations. Russia sees a strategic advantage in recognizing the Taliban as the de facto government in Afghanistan. This move allows Russia to exert influence in a region where it has historically held significant sway. It also provides a direct line of communication with the Taliban, which Russia believes is crucial for addressing its security concerns in the region. The international community remains divided on how to engage with the Taliban. Some countries believe that engagement is the best way to encourage the Taliban to moderate its behavior. Others argue that engaging with the Taliban legitimizes the group and its brutal tactics. Only time will tell what impact Russia's decision will have on Afghanistan's future and the region's stability. Russia's move to delist the Taliban is deeply intertwined with its security concerns in the region. Afghanistan, under the Taliban, has become a breeding ground for various militant groups. Of particular concern to Russia is the Islamic State Khorasan province, or ISIS-K, a sworn enemy of both Russia and the Taliban. ISIS-K, with its extremist ideology and history of brutal attacks, poses a direct threat to Russia's security and that of its Central Asian neighbors. The Taliban, since assuming control, has been engaged in a fierce battle with ISIS-K for territorial control and influence. Russia sees the Taliban as a potential bulwark against the expansion of ISIS-K. By engaging with the Taliban and providing support, Russia aims to bolster the group's capabilities to counter ISIS-K and other terrorist organizations that threaten its interests. Russia's concerns extend beyond its own borders. It fears that the instability in Afghanistan could spill over into the Central Asian republics, many of which were once part of the Soviet Union. A surge in terrorism and extremism in these countries would have serious repercussions for Russia's security and economic interests. Russia's decision to delist the Taliban is a calculated risk. It is a gamble that engaging with the Taliban, despite its controversial past, is the best way to secure its interests in the region. Whether this gamble pays off remains to be seen. Russia's decision to engage with the Taliban is not just about security concerns. It's also a strategic move in the great game of geopolitics. The United States' withdrawal from Afghanistan after 2 decades of war has created a vacuum in the region, one that Russia is keen to fill. By positioning itself as a key player in Afghanistan, Russia seeks to counter the influence of the West, particularly the United States, in Central Asia. The withdrawal of US forces from Afghanistan was seen by many as a sign of waning American influence in the region. Russia has seized upon this opportunity to reassert its presence and project its power in an area it considers its backyard. Engaging with the Taliban is a key part of this strategy, allowing Russia to build relationships and exert influence in a country of strategic importance. Russia's actions in Afghanistan are also part of a broader trend of increasing cooperation with China. Both countries see the United States as a rival and are working together to challenge the existing world order. Their shared interest in Afghanistan particularly in terms of security and economic opportunities, have brought them closer together. The evolving situation in Afghanistan has created a complex geopolitical landscape. Russia, with its decision to engage with the Taliban, is making a bold play to secure its interests and increase its influence in the region. This move is likely to have significant implications for the balance of power in Central Asia for years to come. Kampuki. Section 4. Economic opportunities in a volatile land. Beyond the immediate security concerns and geopolitical maneuvering, Russia's engagement with the Taliban is also driven by potential economic benefits. Afghanistan, despite its turbulent history and current challenges, holds significant untapped economic potential. It is rich in natural resources, including vast reserves of natural gas, oil and minerals, estimated to be worth trillions of dollars. Russia, with its expertise in extractive industries and its need for new markets and resources, sees an opportunity in Afghanistan. Engaging with the Taliban provides Russia with a foothold to explore and potentially exploit these resources. This access to valuable resources could provide a much-needed boost to the Russian economy, which has been hit by sanctions and global economic instability. Moreover, Russia sees Afghanistan as a potential transit route for its energy exports to South Asia. A stable Afghanistan, under the Taliban or otherwise, would allow Russia to build pipelines and transport its energy resources to energy-hungry markets in Pakistan and India, bypassing traditional routes and increasing its energy exports. However, realizing these economic opportunities is fraught with challenges. The security situation in Afghanistan remains volatile, and any investment in the country carries significant risk. The lack of infrastructure and skilled labor further complicates matters. Russia's success in tapping into Afghanistan's economic potential will depend on its ability to navigate these challenges and work with the Taliban to create a more stable and predictable environment. Section 5. Domestic backlash, a calculated risk. While Russia's decision to delist the Taliban may advance its geopolitical and economic interests, it has not come without domestic risks. The Taliban's history of human rights abuses, particularly its treatment of women and girls, has sparked outrage and concern within Russia. Human rights groups and some segments of the Russian public have criticized the move, accusing the Kremlin of prioritizing its strategic interests over moral considerations. The Kremlin has attempted to downplay these concerns, arguing that its decision to delist the Taliban does not equate to condoning its human rights record. Russian officials have maintained that engagement is necessary to influence the Taliban and encourage it to moderate its behavior. They have also emphasized the importance of separating the Taliban's domestic policies from its role in regional security and counter-terrorism efforts. However, the potential for domestic backlash remains a concern for the Kremlin. The Taliban's ideology and practices are at odds with Russia's secular values and its commitment to women's rights. Continued human rights abuses in Afghanistan under the Taliban could fuel public discontent and undermine the Kremlin's narrative. Russia's decision to engage with the Taliban is a gamble. It is a calculated risk that seeks to balance its strategic interests with the potential for domestic backlash. The success of this gamble will depend on a multitude of factors, including the Taliban's willingness to moderate its behavior and Russia's ability to manage domestic perceptions. Section 6. Russia's balancing act. A long-term strategy. Russia's decision to delist the Taliban is the latest chapter in its long and complex relationship with Afghanistan. It is a move driven by a multitude of factors, including security concerns, geopolitical ambitions, and economic opportunities. By engaging with the Taliban, Russia is taking a calculated risk, one that could have significant implications for the region and beyond. Russia's strategy in Afghanistan is characterized by pragmatism and a willingness to engage with actors often deemed unsavory by the West. It is a strategy that prioritizes Russia's national interests above all else. Russia is playing a long game in Afghanistan, one that seeks to secure its borders, counter Western influence, and establish itself as a major player in the region. The success of this strategy is far from guaranteed. Afghanistan remains a volatile and unpredictable country. The Taliban, despite its assurances, has yet to fully transition into a responsible governing force. The international community remains divided on how to engage with the Taliban. Russia's ability to navigate these challenges and achieve its objectives will depend on its diplomatic skills, its willingness to take risks, and its ability to adapt to the ever-changing realities on the ground. The world is watching closely as Russia charts its course in Afghanistan. Its actions will have far-reaching consequences, not only for the future of Afghanistan, but also for the balance of power in Central Asia and beyond.